What is going on, guys? How are you all doing today? Rangovitsmanga12 here, and we are reviewing Ultimate Spider-Man issue 31. Now, in the previous issue, we saw Spider-Man get shot, we saw him get recovered, and then we saw him pretty much get obliterated by the media about him being a menace still and all that crazy stuff. Now, in this issue, we're going to be seeing Spider-Man finally come to confrontation with this Spider-Man criminal, and Gwen Stacy's life is about to get a hell of a lot more complicated than it already is. So guys, before we jump into this issue, I just want to say that if you're only just joining us, we are reviewing every single Ultimate Spider-Man comic from issue 1 all the way up to issue 133 and beyond. Right now we're on issue 31, so let's jump into it. So the issue picks up with us joining Captain George Stacy and his colleagues when just, in the street, just having a bit of friendly talks and stuff like that, talking about jokes and how Captain George Stacy's jokes are horrific and he definitely shouldn't say them. And then this massive explosion happens downtown and we get the imposter Spider-Man, the criminal Spider-Man, once again in the action. And I just love that artwork all around Spider-Man right here, just the stance that Spider-Man is doing when he's holding that guard off the edge of the armored truck. And we get Captain George Stacy actually pointing his gun at Spider-Man, not giving him the time of day, and we get this final look of Spider-Man looking back at Captain George Stacy as he says, "I'm not giving you to the count of 3. And then we go back over to Peter Parker, who, if you remember, has been shot. So even though he's been to the hospital, his arm's still aching, he got out of there before the police turned up, and now he's in school the next day. So you guys are off sick for having a flu when you go to school. Peter still went to school after being shot." Now that's saying something, but Peter goes to his locker. He's actually going to go to the nurse or something. He doesn't know exactly what he's got to do, but when he gets to his locker, there's actually a note waiting for him, and it says, "Black van in the parking lot, I'll take care of your arm." So Peter goes outside and his spider sense isn't going off, which means that it's a good thing, and he's kind of expecting it to be Norman Osborn, but of course the door swings open and Janet Van Dyne is actually there ready to help Peter, and it turns out that she's actually called the Wasp from the Ultimates, so technically she's part of the Avengers of the Ultimate Universe, the Ultimates, and she's awesome. I think we're actually going to see her again in the future of the Ultimate Spider-Man comics, but I'm not too sure, but I do recognise her quite a lot, so hopefully I'll be able to remember soon before the end of this video. But as you can see, she's actually injecting Peter with some kind of drug that will actually cause Peter's healing factor to speed up. So in other words, Peter will heal faster. They actually discovered this from chickens, strangely enough. Now, after Peter gets this done, he actually returns to Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane, and we see them walking home. They're talking about this thing, and Gwen Stacy says that she's onto them and everything like that. And of course, Peter and Mary Jane are like really shocked. They don't know what to think. You can see the expression in the faces. Matt Bagley's artwork really brings that across when he's drawing these characters. Now, Gwen Stacy was talking about knowing that they sneak out at night, not knowing that Peter is actually Spider-Man, and they get home and there's a ton of police cars outside Peter's house. So Peter sprints into the house. We've worried that something might have happened to Aunt May, and that is when it's pretty much all based around Gwen Stacy. And you can just see the level of dark tone. You see how the black background behind Aunt May and Captain George Stacy's colleagues are stood there as well. And you can see the blackness around everything. And it just shows how dark and dull and claustrophobic this moment is. And you can see the expression on Gwen's face again. This is the moment that Gwen Stacy found out that her father, Captain George Stacy, had been murdered by the Spider-Man criminal. Now we go over to Ben Urich of the Daily Bugle, and he's actually going around talking to witnesses, talking to people that were actually at the crime scene of where this happened. And he's pretty much getting their side of the story and getting other people's side of the story from different angles of the crime. And they're all talking about how Spider-Man was running away, swearing at the police officers in Spanish. And the one thing that really makes you feel for this comic is the fact that some of these witnesses actually believe that this is the real Spider-Man that's causing all of these crimes still. Now, of course, obviously, many people believe that it's the real Spider-Man that's doing this, but the fact that a news reporter is actually talking to the witnesses that believe that it's the real Spider-Man, pretty much spreading the word even more that it's probably the real Spider-Man, is just so dark. Now, Spider-Man actually throws this backpack, and it's pretty much a bomb, and it's about to land on this kid, and Captain George Stacy sprints over, throws the kid out of the way, and the backpack lands right in front of the eyes of Captain George Stacy, and that is when it explodes, and that is the moment that Captain George Stacy's life ended, saving a young kid. And at least he went out as a hero. At least he went out doing his job, doing what he loves, and knowing that he saved that kid as he died. And honestly, the whole emotion around this comic is really centered around Gwen Stacy, because not only has she lost her mother has only just left, and now her father is gone for good as well. So Gwen's pretty much got nowhere to stay except for Peter Parker's house because her mother doesn't want anything to do with her. She pretty much blames Spider-Man for all of this. But that's actually where Peter Parker comes into it, because now Peter Parker feels responsible for the death of her father, because his whole persona of Spider-Man is actually included in his death. So now Peter feels personally responsible for the death of Captain Stacy, and the fact that he's living with Gwen Stacy now makes it all the more personal. So Spider-Man goes over there to this bank robbery where this Spider-Man criminal is actually doing another robbery. He just goes straight through the window to confront this Spider-Man criminal, and that is actually where the issue ends, with this awesome confrontation between the two Spider-Men, and that is where it's going to be concluded for the next issue. So guys, that is the end of the issue. What did you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Honestly, I am absolutely blown away by this. I can't believe reading this again. Like, of course I've already read it. Now that I'm reviewing it for you guys, because I'm going over it again, I really feel the emotional impact for Gwen specifically, but also seeing the fact that this is now personal for Spider-Man as well, because he's involved in the death, really brings it out of these characters. So guys, again, what did you think? Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. Just the whole thing about Spider-Man going in there straight through the window, not even talking to the police. He literally just swings straight through the window into the bank to confront this killer. So yeah, we're going to have to wait until the next issue, but 10 out of 10, guys. Please go to links in the description, follow me on Twitter and Facebook to hear about all the latest comic book news updates, and of course when I'm editing these videos and when they're going to be uploaded. Also, if you want to know what I'm doing in my free time when I'm not editing these videos, then follow me on Instagram to see all those awesome things about my comic book pickups when I go to the comic book store and stuff like that. So guys, if you want more, hit the like button on this video, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all in my next video.
No, you clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in. I am not in danger. I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot. You think that